welcome to my channel, and you might be guessing why is there a video on a Wednesday, but today I thought I have to do a review of The Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher. I finished this last week and I've already planned out my videos for the whole of this month, and I didn't want to wait until July to tell you about this book, so I thought let's just make Wednesdays review Wednesdays, so if I ever need a review and my month has already been booked up, I can just do it on a Wednesday. So here we are. I'm going to try and make this spoiler free, but in the title I have just put spoilers just in case. I know that sometimes I can ramble and go on a bit and then spoilers can slowly come out when they're not meant to, but I am going to try and keep this spoiler free, so it just all depends on what you call a spoiler. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. Giovanna and Tom Fletcher are two of my favourite authors. I love Giovanna's contemporaries and Tom Fletcher writes amazing children books. So when I heard they were coming together to write a young adult trilogy, I was a bit worried because I thought they've never done this before, they've never written science fiction and they've never written YA. So I was a bit apprehensive, but I was still really looking forward to it. And the fact that this is such an interesting concept as well, which I will go into in a moment. I also just want to mention the cover. The cover is just so amazing and so pretty. And then when you take the paper bit off, look at that. This is probably one of my favourite covers of the year so far. It's just so pretty, and yeah, they have outdone themselves cover-wise. And I have to say, the story was pretty great as well. But basically the whole concept of this is that Eve is the first woman to be born in 50 years. So they suddenly realise that only boys are being born, and then because of this, women are kind of taken control of. They are basically tested. They are a bit like cattle and they have to give birth, and they just keep giving birth to men until 51-year-old Corinne gives birth to a girl. So obviously the world is rejoicing because within this 50 years, men have kind of like destroyed the world. Women have had to go into sanctuaries to protect themselves just because men, kind of being men, are like wanting to rape them, to try and create more children, and they just need to be protected. Men as well have kind of destroyed the world. There's been flooding, global warming has increased, and now people who are rich get to build these really tall towers and live up there. And that's where we start. We start in a tower called the Dome, and we see Eve just after her 16th birthday, where now she has to start meeting some potential men to try and procreate, because they believe that Eve will give birth to girls. But as in every YA novel, nothing is as it seems. And I'm not going to say any more because, like I said, I do want this to be spoiler free. So I'm not going to go into the plot any more than I just have. But it is really good. It keeps flowing forward. There's lots of action and lots of twists and turns that I just don't expect. So I think if you're into your dystopian science fiction, you will love this. The thing that really made me enjoy the book though are the two main characters. So you've got Eve. Like I said, Eve is 16. She basically lives on her own in this tall tower, a dome that was created for her. And she lives with these women who she calls the mothers. There's about, I think, 6 in total, I can't remember. There's quite a lot, and they have basically brought Eve up to be who she is and prepare her for the future. Eve has slowly started to realise that her future isn't going to be so great. She's realised that maybe like she was taken away from her mother to be popped into sanctuary. She's starting to think maybe her children will be taken away from her, and she doesn't want that. And she doesn't just want to be like an animal, prodded and put, and has to just keep popping out children until they have enough women. She's kind of toying with, should she save the world, or should she try and run away and live a life, fall in love, have a family, and not have these people take him away from her. I also mentioned the mothers. These are elderly women who are infertile or have been persuaded to come away from their families to help raise up this very important girl. They are such a great bunch. I just want to spin off about the mothers. I want to know more about their past because they are such an interesting and diverse bunch. I don't know who my favourite is, there's quite a few. Nina was my favourite. I can't remember, there's so many, I need to reread it to remember the names. But you do get some very sad stories that keep coming out about families that have been lost and women who just haven't enjoyed being the last of the women around there. And they're all like 70 odd as well, because they were about 50s when they were put into sanctuary with Eve, and now she's obviously 16, so they can be going on to about 90s. I think one's about 90, and then there's a whole bunch of them, and I do really like them, and I really hope they go more into the history of the mothers in the next 2 books, because I do really like them, and I kind of feel protective over them, which is very weird, but it's like old elderly caring women, you just want to hug them and keep them safe. And I also have to mention Bram, one of the few men in this book, because Eve has been kept away from men. She's been taught not to look at them because it kind of invites men over, which is really sad. It's kind of like gone back into the past where women shouldn't look at men, they should be chaperoned, just because they've kind of become scared of men. Bram has kind of created a connection with Eve and he falls in love with her. So obviously you've got this whole thing of men are falling in love with Eve because she's the only girl left. Is Bram really in love with her, or is he just a bit mental? So you do have all of that, but he is a really good character. He's going down a journey and realising things aren't what they're meant to be, and I think he's got so much growth ahead of him along with Eve. I'm not going to tell you how it ends obviously, but how it does end, I am excited for the next book, and I just hope there's a lot of growth in the characters because I can see so much potential for them. I just hope it doesn't go down the generic YA route that all YAs go down. I think it might do, but I think with just an interesting and unique concept, they need to kind of end it differently, because if they end it the same way as all the other YAs end, I will be bitterly disappointed, because as you know, I have stopped reading YA. Well, not stopped, there are some that I do read. If it sounds interesting like this, I will read it, but I don't want it to end up like every other YA novel. I think one reason why I did enjoy this is because it is told from the viewpoints of Bram and Eve, and I am one that loves a good point of view book. I do prefer those over everything, so that was basically a big selling point for me when I realised it was going to be like that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. It was very, very good. I enjoyed the story. I was hooked. It's a 400 odd page book. I read 100 pages per day. It's one of those books where you read and then you notice you've only been reading for an hour but you've gone through like 100 pages, and I love those kind of books. But yeah, before I start rambling on, very good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait for the sequel, which I hope is out next year, because I cannot wait to see how it goes. And have you read this book? What did you think? If you want to comment down below, we can have a little discussion, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Bye!